sport, and all the attention now on San Siro. Milan against Spezia. Milan know a win would put them second, and more importantly perhaps keep an eye on Napoli, but only an eye. Napoli winning yet again against Atalanta just a couple of hours ago, and as we start, 9 clear. What a standard they are setting. A season which still has everything to offer for Milan. Reigning champions, back in the UEFA Champions League, last 16 for the first time in a decade, and 3 games before the shutdown. They need 3 wins from them. For Milan, the wait goes on for Mike Maignan. Now 7 weeks since he first sustained a calf injury. Cyprian Tătăruşanu continues in goal. 4 changes to the side that saw off Salzburg in some style. Gabbia, Junior Messias, Brahim Díaz and Origi all return. Simon Kjær, Sandro Tonali, Ante Rebic and Olivier Giroud drop to the bench. And for the visitors, Dimitris Nicolaou is suspended. Ketelaere, still out on loan from Milan, is the replacement at the back for Spezia. Kelvin Amian got half an hour as a substitute against Fiorentina. He's in for Arkadiusz Reka, and a full debut for Spezia for Daniel Maldini, also on loan from Milan, the 3rd generation. The hope of the family is that long term he is a face of the future here at Milan. He also scored for Milan at Spezia last season. Theo Hernández captaining Milan. Fabri is the referee tonight. Luca Banti and Valerio Marini on VAR duty. A sensation created here last season by Spezia when they won it deep in stoppage time. Nobody saw it coming even on the night, the way the game had been going, but Milan were caught out. But very cleverly, Pioli used it as fuel for the fire. Brilliant run by Milan in the second half of last season, and it might be useful this time round because it's going to be a very packed schedule. They hope to have all the big guns, some of whom are watching on once more tonight, available once this sprint race starts in January. They'll all surely have a part to play then. But tonight the job is to take advantage while all the other top sides face off over the course of this weekend against each other. So first step, put the Torino defeat behind them. Remember how well they completed the task in the Champions League. Successive 4-0 wins against Dinamo Zagreb and Salzburg here on Wednesday. And Spezia, well, hopeful. Better away this season, it must be said, than at home. And for most of the players involved for the visitors tonight, the memory of that win out of nothing here on their last visit. More generally, though, this has not been a very happy hunting ground since their rival in the top flight. They've already lost here to Inter. Rafael Leão. You've got Origi point man up there tonight. And Luca Gotti is going to have to find a way to keep him quiet. Nigel Spackman, good evening to you. What chance that Spezia can make it a most unforeseen double?
I really don't see it tonight. I think Milan know what they've got to do. They're starting with the high press straight away, and Brahim Díaz getting in that little pocket and getting on the ball again as he did midweek. I think they know what they've got to do here, and they've got real strength on the bench tonight if they need to change this game. Pioli. Spezia would take a point now, I'd say. Theo Hernández back in the team. Had missed a few games with injury, back in the team now, and he makes such a difference to this team down the left-hand side. That lets Leão drift inside and get more central and get on the ball, because the energy of Theo Hernández is superb, and his quality.
Tomori and Gabbia, the centre-backs. And Kalulu now in a right-back role. Built-in versatility across that back line. Of course, it's a big thing with Pioli. Origi got the cross in. Maldini got a piece of it. Used to play against a lot of these Milan defenders in training, of course, until not very long ago.
Yeah, but he'll want to make his mark here tonight and test that back line, especially Tomori. Gabbia want to back in and battle with them, show what a quality player he is, and that he's good enough to come back next season and play in this very talented squad that Milan have assembled.
Agudelo was run off it. Can't get that image of Giassi running away with it literally to the goal to our left here, Nigel, as we looked last season to win it deep in stoppage time. Even the referee said afterwards, "I'm sorry, I got the decision wrong."
Yeah.
But Milan's response told us everything. That was their last defeat of last season, as they stormed to the title in that unforgettable fashion.
Yeah, they were superb second half of the season. Just wouldn't let Inter back into it.
16-game unbeaten run followed it. Agudelo. Might have been better to move that on Brahim Díaz.
Well, I think Origi made a straight run and he would have been offside. He's got to stop his run and go to the right-hand side to leave the space or stay onside, Origi. He doesn't do that well enough for me, Divock. He needs the space to run into.
Led off by Maldini to Amian. So coming here tonight, 2 wins for Spezia. Empoli on match day 1, Sampdoria at home, 3 draws.
Yeah, I think the problem for Spezia is they've conceded far too many goals. 22 goals already against this season, just the 10-4. It's the 2 wins and the 3 draws, as you said, 7 defeats already. This is only match day 13.
Away form truly terrible. Away from their tiny Stadio Alberto Pico, it's all very different here. Díaz with a lot of room and more time than he knew there.
Yeah, and on his right foot as well. He'll take it further forward, but he's getting to those little pockets here. You see, because they play with a back 3, the midfield players have to pick him up in that area. Well, Gabbia really should be the one in there, or Jungdal with his experience should be saying, we need to pick him up, one of us need to pick him up, protect the back 3.
Where it started from Kalulu to Tătăruşanu. the word about Mike Maignan is that he's basically had two different but related calf problems, and that's why they were so very hopeful for having him back maybe a fortnight ago, because the first one looked like they sorted that out, and then a recurrence. Occupational hazard, we know it can be. Theo Hernández.
Yeah, but calves are one of those injuries where it's very difficult to really treat it, because there's lots of tight muscles in there. You've got the Achilles tendon in there as well, and one sort of movement can set the whole thing off again, and then you get it in the other calf as well, in the other leg. So you have to be very careful, even though he is a goalkeeper. But springing, jumping for balls is always going to test that. It's not the kicking of the ball so much.
Mission right now is to test the new man in goal this season for Spezia, Dragowski. And he was equal to it. Did well with that.
He did very well with that. Got away with it really, because he's didn't move towards the ball until the last moment. Got the punch in. Watch this. Just stood his ground. Look, don't. And then he just come towards it in the last second. Got the punch in. Well done, the goalkeeper.
Sign from Fiorentina. Our viewers will remember Gotti as the Udinese coach. Succeeded Thiago Motta. Motta moved on after just one season. The man who took Spezia into the top flight for the first time was Vincenzo Italiano, and he kept them up in their first season. 15th and 16th, their two finishing positions.
Well, the problem for them this season, as we said, you know, their away form is poor, their home form is poor if you look at it that way as well. But you've got Cremonese and Samp, who are just 3 points behind them. So any points picking up before the World Cup break for that man and his team is so important.
Lecce got a point last night at Udinese, 1-1. Mehdi Bourabia is going to measure this one up. Captain of Spezia. Jakub Kjær. Straight up Tătăruşanu. Hernández, normally a bit more robust than that on it, brushed off it.
Yeah, and he stopped with holding his knee there as well. Theo Hernández, right on the halfway line. Hopefully he's okay, because we've seen so many injuries, players leading up to the World Cup. It's going to be touch and go for a lot of players if they're going to be fit enough to make it. I was doing the game midweek, RB Leipzig, and Werner pulls up with his ankle and plays on and touches the ball, goes down, and he's out of the World Cup. Let's hope it's not the same for Theo Hernández. He's had injuries already this season.
Just having a little briefing session there with another player, World Cup bound, Ethan Ampadu of Wales.
That looks like his thigh, his left thigh at that as well. As we all know, he's left-footed, Theo Hernández. You don't want to be taking any risks with that.
This is Ampadu. A little bit careless in possession there by Amian. Ampadu again. Maldini's having a share of it up front, and he's bringing other people like Agudelo into the play, a bit early on. Amian still alive here for Spezia. Marcatori once more. Always seeking to make things happen. Not sure he always plays with a cool head, but bundle of energy.
I think he's very fortunate to get the ricochet out for a corner here. But he gets his head down, doesn't look up for anyone. And he does like to jump into tackles, jump out of tackles, trying to get free kicks for his team. But on the ball, very talented.
So Maldini in the white of Spezia. On his home ground, playing against his home club. He's an obvious target here. We've seen that corner before from Spezia this season, and it's a clever little flick on the near post by Kjær. Another who knows every blade of grass here.
Yeah, but he gets across the defender, just flicks it goalwards round the corner. Kjær, that's a good save from Tătăruşanu.
Not quite for Díaz. I'm going to hazard a guess that the win here last season has been mentioned in the run-up to this game by Spezia, the way they've started this night. Other than that, a truly awful record here in this great stadium.
Well, you would mention it, and you'd mention it a few times. I'm sure they mentioned it before they went out as well. They've weathered that early little storm from Milan. Now they're getting a bit of possession, asking a few questions.
Zola needed to keep it. But he could sense the trouble coming, but he didn't stop the breakout, led by Rafael Leão. We all know how electric he is. And just about kept out by Dragowski. May have been a deflection as it came his way. Now, going the other way, Spezia with Holm.
Well, that's brilliant. Brilliant play from Rafael Leão. I just love this man. I think he's a top quality player. He's going to go on to bigger and greater things for sure. But I think it's actually Tomori who makes the run up. And he's the one who slides in with the finish. He doesn't quite catch it properly, and it's a bit of a back pass from the centre-back. Easy save.
Zola again. Kept in by Kalulu far side. Bennacer. Rafael Leão. Possibility, of course, that the next 8 weeks are going to change Rafael Leão's entire life. He could become a real breakthrough star at world level.
Yeah, that's a few question marks about him at international level, where he drifts in and out of games, and you can't do that international-wise. But I think for Milan, he's been absolutely brilliant. You know, assists and goals. Involved in 9 goal-scoring situations this season so far, 5 for himself and 4 assists. But he's so good, so quick, so powerful. But he's got to do it at international level. You're absolutely right. And that Portuguese team is a tough team to get into.
Yeah. Still, I'd be very happy if he was in my squad.
Yes, absolutely.
Tomori. Still remaining hopes for him to be on the plane with England, of course.
Yeah, I think he's just got to keep his head down and keep doing what he's doing and hope for the best. He doesn't really get a look in. He's in the squad, but doesn't normally play, Tomori.
That's his pass. Díaz. Marcatori snapping away. Messias had a lot to do there. Oh, crossbar saves Spezia second time. Leão thought about it, crossed it eventually. Dragowski's working overtime, and he might have more to do here.
What a ball this is from Leão, though, and it's Brahim Díaz, who's not the biggest at the back stick. It's just a lovely bending ball in. Defender gets a little bit on it as well, but the goalkeeper does extremely well, just improvising with his right foot to kick it away. And that's the one off the crossbar. Brilliant strike.
Krunić it was who had the hit. Gabbia to Tomori.
That's what happens sometimes when centre-backs get too much time to think about it. That was the shot off the crossbar. Goalkeeper well beaten. Good to see Ibra there encouraging his troops, but he should be back after the World Cup in January. He should be back, and so should a lot of the others, I think. Florenzi will be back, Magnon hopefully will be back, Calabria, Salimakers. It's a really good squad that Milan have. For the second half of the season, if they're all fit, they will really push Napoli all the way, I feel. Yeah, did well here, Tomori, read the situation. It's a clear foul and a push by Amian.
Messias. 4 or 5 saves already from Drakowski. Well played again. Great bit of link-up play here. Messias quick to join in, dropping in behind Origi, and he got the bits and pieces and he let go.
He did, and he can thump the ball as well. Messias coming in off that right-hand side, and as you said, that's the first bit of link play between him and Origi. Great shot, really good save from Vranckx.
Twice over Tomori. Not much power in the second header, but the first looked a good one.
Yeah, I think it was Origi with the second one. Just couldn't get the power on it. He's not the biggest, you know, Tomori, but he jumps really well, hangs in the air. Still only 24 years of age. Been brilliant since he's been here. Obviously, first of all, on loan and then signing permanently. Winning the Scudetto last season.
That's the player who forged that brilliant partnership with him, Kalulu. Not operating as a duo just at the moment. Might be the case, of course, as the season goes along, Nigel.
Well, yeah, but he can play at that right back, although he prefers to play centre-back. Well, with Florenzi and Calabria out, he's having to do a job there. You know, Simon Kjær's on the bench as well. He's played centre-back at times, so it looks like Gabbia's in there at the moment. So they've got a lot of things they can change around, and as you said, the manager loves versatile players. That's what Kalulu gives them.
Well, ultimately, last season, it was simply, you're going to have to play together because of the injury to Kjær, 1 or 2 others below optimum level, and once they started to play together, it suddenly looked their best option.
Yeah, absolutely, because both of them are decent on the ball, both of them are very quick, and they read the game so well. So in one-on-one situations, they dealt with things very well, as Milan had to push forward and chase things at times. And both fullbacks love to get forward, with Theo Hernández down the left, and whoever played it right back, Florenzi or Calabria, they like to push on as well.
Messias almost through from Origi. Ampadu. One thing about Ampadu, he doesn't want to be a player who's got R against his name in successive seasons.
Yeah.
I think he's too good for that, quite honestly, but he was relegated last season, and it does look as though Spezia are going to have to claw their way to safety again.
Yeah, but with all the injuries that they've had at Chelsea defensive-wise, maybe they're looking at him to maybe take him back as well if they need him. So you have a good World Cup, you never know. Ampadu, but he can play in midfield as well. He sometimes does that for Wales. He's good on the ball.
It's been coming for quite some time. It's absolutely expertly finished off by Theo Hernández, and no sign of an injury there.
Yeah, but it's a brilliant first touch. Times it as well. Obviously, VAR will look at it. I think he's onside. It's a brilliant first touch, and then he drills it low under the goalkeeper for 1-0, and they needed that, Milan. Just been a little bit lackadaisical at times, a few long-range shots. The keeper's played well, but I think that needs to settle them down. Again, Theo Hernández, let's have a look. Yeah, he's onside because the centre-back, I think, just dropped in at the same time. Lovely ball from Bennacer, over the top. First touch is excellent, second touch even better.
It was Kjær who played him onside.
Yeah, sometimes as a young defender, you've got to hold your line. Once you drop in, especially in a back three, it's easy to play players onside, but they're checking it. Could be tight.
Scored in the 4-2 win over Udinese, opening the season.
It's a lovely pick out though on the little diagonal. We think over the top, Bennacer. Brilliant first touch. And hammered in the back of the net. Well, from our viewpoint, you can't actually see. It's a great ball and touch and finish, but you can't see if the defender, Thiaw, drops in beyond Hernández. It's obviously very, very tight.
Anxiety growing with the length of the delay here.
Why does it take this long? I just don't understand it. They must look from every angle. It's got to be quicker than this.
It's all been said, my friend, over and over again. Three and a half minutes of this since the ball went in the net.
But this is so frustrating for the fans, for Theo Hernández, who scored the goal, for the referee. It's not his fault, it's the VAR. They've got to be quicker at doing these things. This is ridiculous.
Question, is the technology functioning properly? Could that be an issue? Well, how else could anybody explain all this, Nigel?
I don't think they can. He gave the goal in the first place. If the VAR is not working, it's not working, then turn it off for the rest of the game. Let's get on with it.
That's 4 minutes. We'll just keep an eye on the clock for everybody who can stay with us, who hasn't got anything more pressing to do. We came here to watch football.
Video assistant referee. Well, he's not assisting very well, the VAR, is he? Check over.
The goal was a very good one. The rest entirely unacceptable for anybody who cares about football.
So what time do you give the goal for then? 20 minutes or 25 minutes?
What time is our last train?
Blimey, I've missed it already.
Or tram here.
I think the VAR missed the train in the first place.
5 minutes after Theo Hernández finished off a lovely bit of football from Milan, the game restarts.
Well, it's a lovely ball from Bennacer, and then the touch from Theo Hernández. The movement in the first place, then the touch, then the finish. Wonderful goal. But VAR, what are you doing to our game?
Spezia were just in for a cup of tea, weren't they?
Absolutely. I think Gotti was fed up with it as well.
Yeah, doesn't help anybody. Kills their momentum, and they have had some good moments tonight.
Yeah, they weathered that early storm, his team, and then they come back into it, Spezia, and then Milan have got on top again, got the goal. Now they've just got to stick in there, keep working hard, but they've got to keep getting hold of Brahim Díaz in the middle of the park for me. That's where the danger is.
Finding big spaces in front of that back line, and if he picks it up there, look at the space he's got now. Just keeps going and going. Rafael Leão. Well played, Tomori.
Yeah, he did well there because Maldini's putting him under pressure. Keep your eye on the ball, deal with it.
Gabbia to Kalulu. As though they've gone into their shells just a little bit, Spezia. That could just invite more trouble, I think, Nigel. Caldara comes away with it, but he didn't want to cross the halfway line.
No, well, the thing is, when you away from home and you've started well and then suddenly you go a goal down, people start hiding a little bit. They don't want the ball in the tight area so much, but they've got to keep believing in themselves, Spezia. 1-0, they're still right in this game. This suits Milan, though. 1-0 up, they can keep the ball, they're good at keeping possession. A little bit of movement in the middle of the park as well. And then get it in the wide area, especially to Leão.
Yes. Causing all kinds of problems, as Nigel has said. Messias, back to Díaz. I know they've changed the personnel a little bit tonight, Nigel, but it wouldn't have helped them at the moment, because again, another game midweek in Serie A. If they can make this relatively easy on themselves tonight, Milan, physically, and at the moment, at this tempo, this is ideal, isn't it?
This is ideal that they've got in front. You know, they've won 4-0 midweek, made the changes, but got a very strong bench. But you need to rotate when you're in all competitions, but you still got to get results.
Maldini.
I have to say, Paul, Tonali, who's on the bench tonight, I think when he doesn't play, they really do miss him, because he breaks up things in the middle of the park and then he breaks forward. He's got great quality.
Forceful play by Gabbia. Earns Spezia the corner of Bennacer.
Well, you can see it's tight. It's a lovely pass. Touch, finish. I know it was tight, but it shouldn't have taken that long to work that one out. But we got there in the end. I have to also...
Only issue there was, could the goalkeeper see it?
Yeah.
Tătăruşanu did do, just about.
Yeah, but he's not happy with his defender. It was like last week. Conceded a header from about the penalty spot when nobody gets close enough. Nobody makes an attempt to win the ball. Keeper makes a good save. Tătăruşanu.
Make that in the way. Home. Over elaborate. Likewise the other way. Great lineup on Sunday on BT Sport from Serie A. Bologna-Torino is first up. That's BT Sport 3, 11:30 AM. Followed by Sampdoria at home to Fiorentina. Sampdoria could catch Spezia, of course, if they were to claim a rare victory. And if Spezia do lose tonight,
yeah, I don't think you can look too far ahead if you're either of these teams. I think Spezia midweek home to Udinese. What drew today, but then they play Verona the last game before the World Cup, which is a massive game. Verona obviously being bottom of the league at the moment, so 3 big games, including this one.
That's costly potentially. Anzola, Maldini, maybe hoped it would bobble free again. Got to take advantage of opportunities like that when they come tonight, Spezia, surely.
Yeah, I think Krunić did well just to get back and get the challenge in, but that's really sloppy there from Kalulu.
Tomori didn't seem entirely on the same wavelength as his goalkeeper there as he played it back. It was just a hint of a tetchy exchange between them. Now Díaz is brushed to the ground. He's got a free kick.
I think the other problem is when Mike Magnon's out, he's a top-class goalkeeper, in my view, growing into be a world-class goalkeeper and good with his feet. This is it, look, miscontrol, given away. And then comes back, and I think it's Krunić, just comes back and gets a toe in there. Yeah, it is Krunić. He did really well, defensive midfield player then.
Initial mistake by Kalulu. I will say there as well, Nigel, Kalulu, he was so quick to get across to try to rectify his error, wasn't he? He's got the ball again now.
Yeah, but sometimes when there's no pressure on you, and had a lot to do, you start taking a few little chances, a little drag back, and he miscontrols it. Can't do that at the very highest level.
Gabbia to Bennacer.
Probably you can't do it at any level, actually.
You could do it at my level. It's Spezia giving it away a little carelessly. Messias, and he's replied in kind. Hope it doesn't become that kind of a game. The sheer weight of games clearly a factor for many players at the moment.
Well, I think that's why we're getting so many injuries at the very highest level, pushing yourself in the games, and then you've got to train as well. You're travelling, doesn't help.
Kjær. Hole. Not a bad one. Hernández minding his own business, but very effectively there.
Yeah, he saw the danger and just gets round the back for this. Locks off. Good defending.
2 for the price of 1 here.
Very cute. Knew what he was doing, just blocked it off.
So after another fantastic performance and victory for Napoli at Atalanta, there are still top of the table clashes everywhere tomorrow on BT Sport. Roma-Lazio, BT Sport 1, and that is followed by the Derby d'Italia, Juventus against Inter. And at the moment, those two looking for a way into the fight at the top.
Yeah, two massive games tomorrow evening.
Brilliant lineup. Sense that Spezia are regathering themselves in the run-up to half-time to have another go. And a real go, of course, last week against Fiorentina. Ultimately only beaten in the 90th minute. And they missed several very good chances in that game.
Yeah. We haven't seen much of Origi, have we? Played a couple off, run offside a couple of times. I think he's finding it hard to settle into this team and the way they play. When players play with Giroud, they know that Giroud's going to come to feet because he's not got the pace to go down the sides. They can play off him. But with Origi, you don't really know what he's going to do. Is he going to come to feet? He's going to spin it behind.
Bennacer. And has vacated the space, leaving it to Rafael Leão. Gabbia. Kalulu to Krunić. Bit tidier in possession in this phase of play, Milan. Hernández. Bennacer gives it back to Hernández. Now Rafael Leão. Kalulu. Díaz. Super from him again. Into the box he goes. Maybe not the greatest of crosses, but they might yet finish it off. Wouldn't settle for Rafael Leão. Bennacer. That's nice.
That was a lovely dink ball over the top. Bennacer to Hernández again, just like the goal, but from the other side. Didn't quite catch it. Scuffed it into the ground, but the other side where Brahim Díaz does well, great bit of skill. He's got to whip it in the near post early for Origi. He takes far too many touches, then overhits his cross.
Looking for a target. Invited and Zola to have a go for it. Maldini, the tiniest of touches on it. End result is a Spezia throw. Gabbia and Maldini. It's kind of the case tonight, Nigel, that Gabbia's been pushing Maldini further and further away from the penalty box, which is job done really by him, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but then he's got to be switched on to the movement from Zola, who gets into the gap in behind him, and that's where Tomori's got to talk to Gabbia. You do that job, but you've also got to switch on to that job.
That's good from Krunić. But no free kick on the end of it for Milan, and Díaz is not too happy about that. Gabbia.
My criticism of Díaz at times, Paul, would be he only wants to play when they give him the ball. He doesn't want to work the other way.
Bennacer was certainly working for him. Díaz actually couldn't get there. That's going to be a yellow for Bennacer, most certainly.
Good shout. Definite lunge in. Silly challenge. I got there as quick as I could, ref.
Paul.
That should have been a goal kick as well. Can they take advantage of this, though, Spezia? 5 minutes to go to half-time, plus the added time about the goal and everything. They're still in this.
Didn't take us 5 minutes to resolve that one either, did it? Could it be the little break that Spezia need here? Not always been entirely secure defensively tonight, Milan. One or two little snippets of opportunity. Tătăruşanu lost under that one. It was a very good corner. And Zola. Gabbia hoisted it. Agudelo tried to burrow his way toward that penalty box. Can't get through, doesn't have the wit or the imagination or the craft for all his energy.
Yeah, but they're making hard work of this Milan, aren't they? They've got that one goal up, and you thought, well, they're going to push on and get a second before half-time, but they haven't really taken control of the game, and Spezia is still pushing. They're still in this. They could get a goal before half-time. I think the confidence could drain out of Milan.
A lot of those goal attempts were in the first 25 minutes tonight for Milan. Tomori. Bennacer. Krunić left it. Little defending for the goalkeeper to do, and he made a bit of a mess of that, Tătăruşanu. I guess he'll walk away saying, I put the player off, it was all fine.
He's very fortunate, again, just like last week, Vranckx. He's onside. Why come out the area at the angle when you don't need to? Stay on your line. Let the defender deal with it. And Zola should have done better than that. He's taken the shot on early. Should have kept control and waited for support. Tătăruşanu very fortunate.
Leão, on we go. Spezia, all arms in the air.
I think that's a soft free kick to give away that. Let's have a look. Oh no, he's pulling his arm, yeah. Referee's correct, the first one. He was onside, Leão, timed it perfectly.
Hernández takes it. Maldini lost it. Leão, it's on here.
Well, in the first place, Origi did well, but Leão gets there from a little flick. He's so quick, gets there, and now it's, what do I do? He looks up and telegraphs it, really. The defender does really well just to cut that out. Kjær squandered a lot of chances, Milan.
Ampadu. One for Zola to fight for. Gabbia over the top of him. Bennacer trying to tidy it up. Gabbia has it. On the cut inside. Jungdal. Zola. Maldini. Agudelo. Amian. Doesn't for me, offer a great deal of real dangerous threat, Nigel, when he pushes forward, Amiens.
Yeah, but it's really good defending on this occasion. Tomori didn't let him get his head up and get the cross in, blocked it. But he's got to give them more, you're absolutely right, Amiens, down that right-hand side. But you'll find that some wing-backs don't like to cross the halfway line, they're really full-backs. And you put them in an attacking sense, they don't really know what to do.
Some interesting coaching points made by Graham Potter on that theme, actually, this week. The difference between those who want to defend and those who really are forwards playing as wing-backs.
Yeah, but you've got to then have the back three, your two, you've got the three at the back, the two who play either side of the central man. They've got to be comfortable on the ball, like full-backs who can bring it out. Azpilicueta converted to that role really well. Steve Clark, when I was at Chelsea with him, he converted to that role really well. But when you go forward, those players aren't as good getting into an attacking final third. They can do the defensive side.
Bennacer's been doing the defending in midfield pretty well tonight so far. Don't know how Díaz did that, or even if he meant it, but it gets Milan going forward. Caldara with the header. Space for Rafael Leão. Junior Messias. Spezia need to regroup quickly here. Messias goes on. Rafael Leão, deflection onto the crossbar. Blocked on the line just from Krunić. Krunić could have had two in this half. Rafael Leão, and that is going to be a goal kick, and probably the last significant action of the half.
Well, Leão here, one thing in his mind, get a shot in, deflected. The keeper's going one way, hits the crossbar, back in. Krunić with the shot. Just hits the defender. Look at that. Riding their luck a little bit just before half-time here, Spezia, but it's still only 1-0.
Top of Gabbia's head a little bit, and that's happily for all the players going to go straight out of play, because nobody wanted to put their head on that from Hernández. Gabbia. Bennacer strong again. But beaten this time by Gabbia. He did that well. What a chance squandered by Anzola, and he knows it.
Well, he's got to score. Brilliant play. Gabbia put it in the danger area, cross that 6-yard box line, and Zola's got to make it 1-1 on half-time. Terrible miss.
Ibra knows it, they all know it. Very, very nearly indeed. With the last action of this first half, Milan could have been pegged back. They have led and dominated play. They've squandered a whole host of chances. Beautifully finished opener for Theo Hernández. The shine taken off it by a ridiculous VAR delay. Spezia regrouped and got going again. And as you've just seen, that last little moment in the first half could have changed the mood completely. But at half-time, it is Milan 1, Spezia 0. Around the world also realised he was onside. Unfortunately, it took another 5 minutes before the game restarted. Now, Tonali is set to come on for Milan. They have laboured largely. A lot of chances not taken, but they could have put this game beyond Spezia, and they haven't done that. We turn around with Milan only a goal up, so still hope for Gotti and co. Such an inspirational figure last season. Ismail Bennacer is coming off. Bennacer on a yellow card in that first half. That may be part of the thinking. Bennacer also at fault with the last piece of action in that first half, when Zola should have levelled for Spezia. Milan get it going in the second half.
I have to say, Paul, I think that's a brilliant substitution. I think Tonali, for me, is one of the best young midfield players in European football. He's so important to the way that this team plays, driving them forward. He's got the qualities defensively and offensively.
Here's the goal scorer. We are hearing, actually, Nigel, that the so-called excuse for the very long VAR on the goal is that there was an audio problem. Somebody could have run inside with a piece of paper and said to the referee, give the goal.
Yeah, or get your ruler out and stick it across the screen or something. It took far too long. I know we get electrical problems, but really, they've got to do better than that. The spontaneous reaction for the goal, people want to celebrate, and then it took 5 minutes to really get the answer.
Messias couldn't find a teammate. Here comes Tonali. Messias straight at Dragowski. Made 1 or 2 good stops in the first half, this man.
Yeah, he did. Made some really good saves with his feet, with his hands. A couple off the crossbar as well. Didn't have a chance with the goal.
He's got a lot of white shirts in front of him all the time as well, hasn't he? Well, you picked up on quite early tonight.
Yeah, and playing with the back three, they play quite tight. The wing-backs drop back in, and they play more as defenders than they do offensive players, the 2 wing-backs. But they should have been level at half-time. Having said all that,
great chance from Zola. Daniel Maldini in the white of Spezia tonight. I understand he's actually copying the lead of his grandfather, who started against Torino when he was on loan from Milan. His own dad didn't get loaned out very often, did he?
Well, what a player his dad was. Play left back, centre back, world class wherever you asked him to play. Brilliant English. He's got the honour of meeting him a couple of years ago at Anfield in the Veterans game. Really likeable man, as most of the ex-Milan players were or are. And what was his goalkeeper? His dad was a goalkeeper, wasn't he?
Milan in their blood, all of them. Current man in goal is Cyprian Tătăruşanu. Long wait for Mike Maignan goes on. Jungdal, also a Milan player, although didn't feature very often at all at Milan. In fact, he was loaned back to Atalanta for a spell, wasn't he, once he was signed by Milan. Spent last season at Venezia along with Ethan Ampadu. Good win back by Krunić. Origi into the box he goes, and sharp bit of work that by Dragowski again. What about the shot by Origi there, Nigel?
Well, just too close to the keeper, but they win it. And then when he's running onto balls like this, he's got his head up, going for goal. I think that's his power. but maybe should look up. Díaz to his left-hand side, Leão to his left-hand side, but it's a good shot, but needs to be tucked in the corner rather than right at the goalkeeper from Origi. I do worry for him when Olivier Giroud is on the bench, if he comes off the bench for him, but when Ibrahimovic is fit as well, second half of the season, does Origi play that much? It's a strange move for me, from Liverpool to Milan. Doesn't seem to suit the shape that the team plays.
Ampadu. It's never going to work out for Zola. Not sure it's working out tonight for Origi so far. He's got that one goal against Monza.
Yeah, what a strike that was. Really took the netting off the goal. But that's it, unfortunately, so far.
Kalulu. Slightly untidy by Milan. Albin Ekdal. Ekdal finds another club at Serie A level. Brought in the summer from Sampdoria.
Yeah, from one struggling club to another, isn't it?
Was offside. Agudelo. That was well executed by Messias. Now Tonali. Messias through the middle. Wasn't a bad ball by Tonali. Ampadu came across Messias, got that right.
Did very well there, Ethan Ampadu. Read the situation, covered round. Showed a good turn of pace as well to slide in and win the ball.
Kalulu. I know Tonali's on, but I'm not seeing a massive injection of power into this Milan performance so far, Nigel, are you?
No, they're not playing with a high enough tempo, I think. They're 1-0 up, it's quite easy for them at times, but there's no tempo to the game. It's a long ball forward. They give it away again. They need to get it to Leão's feet like this.
Fleeting sightings of him at his best tonight, but he does have that quite electric burst.
Yeah, but he's been on the fringes of things at times as well. They've got to get the ball to his feet in the right areas, but I think there's going to be a change here for Spezia now.
He's left out of the starting lineup tonight, Arkadiusz Reka. Discuss in the first half the fact that Kelvin Amian has offered very little down the right side. I wonder if Reka will go on the right, or could they swap himself and Holm over? That's a possibility here, Nigel, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what will happen, because he's left-footed, and then they've just got to try and get the two wing-backs a little bit further forward and ask a few questions of Milan defensively. Got to do that at the right time. You don't want to leave the back three on their own.
Tonali. Ampadu. Zola. Holm in front of him, and eventually he gives it to him. Now Holm's looking for a target. Wasn't a ready-made target, he felt he had to hang on to that.
Yeah, and where he's waiting to watch the ball come across his foot to whip it in and look for movement, Hernández gets back with the slide tackle.
Pretty ordinary from Spezia's perspective. I would have thought Daniel Maldini's the obvious target. It was nowhere near him. Agudeli's trying to make something out of it.
Yeah, you need to get him into the game, Daniel Maldini. And Zola, we've seen him in flashes, but should have equalised right on half-time. But when you've got Milan pushed back, you've got to keep him in there and get it into the front man and then feed off him.
Theo Hernández is having another debate with this official far side.
Well, they're debating whose ball it was. It was a definite Milan ball.
Zola. Fist over the top when the cross did come in. Jungdal got in there. Really and truly, Tomori should have stopped that cross from coming in, shouldn't he?
Well, it gets too tight. It's laid back. And then the ball's in and he makes the run, Jungdal, and nobody picks him up. Watch. He makes the run. Got to hit the target there. That's a lovely floated little ball in from home. Got to hit the target there. Jungdal, one Swedish international to the other.
Different vintage, admittedly.
Yeah, but it's all getting a little bit scrappy here, and that suits Spezia. Pushing Milan back, they're not getting any rhythm into their game. And if Spezia get one and get level here, this is going to be an interesting end to this game. I think we might see players coming off the bench for Milan very soon.
Gabbia with the free kick. Tomori standing firm that time.
Yeah, Ampadu and Tomori know each other from Chelsea, of course. Both going for the same ball there. Tomori putting it out for the corner.
Messias got his head to it. Tonali couldn't collect it. Bundled out of play off Origi. Got very, very bitty indeed, this Milan performance. Now, this time the decision is Spezia throw, and Hernández accepts with a modicum of grace.
Yeah, but coming up to the hour mark, Spezia know they're still in this game. I mean, it should have been level at half-time with that chance which Zola missed, but second half, Milan look all over the place.
They do. Struggling to lift themselves. They cannot afford a repeat of last week's slip. Now Maldini! Oh, he scored! Daniel Maldini levels it for Spezia. Milan in his heart, the stadium in his blood, but he scored for the visitors tonight.
This is such a cool finish, you know. He wins it back, it opens up for him, and he just uses the defender to bend it to Tătăruşanu's left-hand post, who can't move. It's past the defender, he doesn't see it. What a great finish that is from Daniel Maldini.
Of course, we understand the subdued celebration from the young man, but it's a moment he is going to remember, whatever happens in the rest of his career. He did that so well.
Yeah, but he wins it here off Messias, and then it's away from Krunić, and then uses the defender just to bend it round. And Tătăruşanu just watches it go in the back of that. He can't react. That's really good strength and a precision finish from Daniel Maldini. Brilliant.
Father and grandfather, two of the all-time great Milan defenders, but the young striker shrugged off the current Milan defence all too easily there. Theo Hernández was very nearly on his way in again.
Yeah, I'm sure Daniel took the right option to become a striker, having had a grandfather and a father who were so brilliant defenders for club and country.
Could Spezia possibly do it again here, as last season? Agudelo. They've lost here this season already to Inter. Overall, since promotion, beaten here 3-0 by Milan in 2021. 2-1 by Inter in the same season. Last season, 2-0 by Inter. But things are looking up.
Yeah, he'd be very proud deep within. Obviously, he's Milan through and through, but he'd be very proud that his son has scored in San Siro.
Hang on a minute, it's not that easy over the breakfast table tomorrow, is it really?
Daniel might still be able to celebrate it if they go on and win this game anyway. But I just think now Pioli's got to start looking at his bench. He's got Giroud on there, he's got Rebic on there, Ketelaere on there. They look flat.
They look like a team that's been playing every 3 days for a long time at very high level.
Yeah, but you just think midweek they were brilliant, weren't they? Won 4-0. Giroud scored a couple, made one as well. Sometimes centre forwards just want to keep playing when they're scoring goals.
Always seems willing to me, Giroud.
Well, I think he's in the form of his career. I know he's, what, 36 now, is he? But he's playing brilliantly.
Krunić with this Milan free kick. Returned it with the header. That's the head of Maldini. Tonali. Díaz. Junior Messias. Going to get a card for that.
Yeah. I don't know why he did that. He was away from the defender, trying to get the penalty. Just stay on your feet. Look, he's away there. He's got plenty of room. No defenders are coming across. And this is the goal. He won it off Messias and then bent it into that far corner. That's a beautiful finish, controlled finish from Daniel Maldini.
Hopefully, from the Milan perspective, it'll only be a footnote on the season. Imagine doing that in a title-deciding game. That would be an invidious position, wouldn't it?
Oh, wow.
Home cuts it out. The crowd reaction told you everything. Milan are simply not getting going in this second half. Spezia encouraged to keep fighting here. Agudelo left it, hoping Maldini would come and take it off him. He didn't do that.
Yeah, but he's got to make his mind up and pass the ball. He's got loads of time and space. He just runs the space down. Maldini had nowhere to go.
Going the other way, Nigel. It's not happening for Origi tonight.
No, not at all. I think he's finding it very difficult in Italian football at the moment, Divock.
Leão gets it to Origi. Díaz through the middle, wanted it first time. What an absolute beauty. The heart and soul of the new Milan. Tonali from the edge of the box. As ever, when needed, he provides it.
Absolutely, and that's why I said when he came on, I think it's a brilliant move, and he's one of the best young midfield players in European football, and that tells you why. He can score goals, he can create goals, he can dictate the tempo of the game, but what a finish this is. Divock, I thought he'd made the wrong decision. But Tonali just comes onto this and just picks it out right in the top corner. Vranckx absolutely no chance. Watch this. I'm not sure if the pass is actually meant for him in the first place. But look, whips round it, bends it with that right foot away from the goalkeeper. No pressure on him, I have to say, but it's still a wonderful first-class finish from Sandro Tonali.
A true difference maker. Goals to win games, as at Verona not very long ago. Daniele Verde is going to come on, and we can just all hope that this is not going to be another 5-minuter as the goal is checked. Listen to the applause for Maldini coming off. They're saying foul, foul, fallo, fallo.
Well, can they see the screen from there? The referee's going to have to tell them to go away. Yeah, that looks like a foul to me. Tomori gets there late.
On Nzola.
Yeah.
The goal stands. Or so it appeared. Milan went away to celebrate, believing that he'd indicated a goal.
Yeah, but from the pictures we've seen on the VAR, looks like there's a clear foul there. This time challenge, but what's the referee giving?
Nobody knows, Nigel. So our Italian TV colleagues believe the goal is ruled out.
Well, I have to say it was a wonderful finish from that man into the top corner, but foul in the build-up, how far do you go back? That's the other thing.
Yeah, exactly. I jumped the gun, apologies for that, but nobody was really sure exactly what his decision was there. Now Maldini is coming off for Verdi. Elliotson and Christoph have also been waiting. Captain starting out tonight, Rabiot is coming off.
I think he's got the correct decision, but I don't know how far back in the play before Tonali put it in the back of the net that was, but we're at 1-1. Let's get on with it.
There, a clear indication from the referee that it is a Milan throw. Given away. Tonali at least was alert, and eventually Gabbia also. So the struggle continues for Milan.
Well, I'm looking down at the bench now. Pioli's got players warming up. He's got to make the changes.
Rebic is one. Ketelaere another, and Olivier Giroud. As soon as possible. There's only 20 minutes left here for Milan. Kalulu, Tonali. Something is needed to lift Milan tonight. Either a mistake by Spezia, that was a little loose from home, or more likely, fresh impetus off the bench.
Yeah, I think the other thing is you scored a brilliant goal from one substitute who came on at half-time, and then it gets knocked off by VAR for a foul. They're back on level terms here, and now you've got to make the big decisions if you're Pioli, and that's what he's doing.
Messias again on a yellow. Simply has passed Origi by tonight, sadly for him. Díaz, not an influence second half, Nigel. Very good in patches in the first half. The Ketelaere for him.
Yeah, and I'd have to say that those three players who have come off as squad players, they're not starting players for me in the big games. So there's the tactics for Hernández. We need to win this one. Let's get on with it.
Long from Hernández, looking for Giroud. Ketelaere. Rebic.
Well, Rebic can get you a goal. Giroud can definitely get you a goal. Ketelaere hasn't found the back of the net. Not created enough. He'd had a lot of criticism as well, but been out injured now. Back in the team. It could be in being the hero tonight. They need a goal from someone. Step up to the plate.
Serie A Sunday starts at 11:30 on BT Sport 3 with Bologna against Torino. Following that, Sampdoria against Fiorentina. This is for Ampadu.
Yeah, but he won the ball. Getting a yellow card for that. Well, this is a massive, well, with added time, 20 minutes coming up in Milan season. This, as you rightly said, they need to win all their games going up to the World Cup break, really. Napoli being so good, that gap's 9 points at the moment.
Rafael Leão. No real problem for Dragowski. First ball was a good one. Not the second one for Spezia. And it's only just on the field, of course. Rebic, his touch was better. The Ketelaere, and that was quite nice by him. Tonali. Here goes Rafael Leão against Holm. That's brilliant from Holm.
Excellent defending from the wing-back.
Better contest in terms of the two on that side now, Nigel, in terms of pace. Here's the cross coming in. Rebic. I think we all just waited and we knew that the whistle was going to blow there.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to know that you've just got to pull out. Kalulu, you've got no chance of winning it. It's in a dangerous area anyway. Don't go for it. Ellison did really well. Get the free kick. Take the pressure off your team defensively. He's enjoyed it so far. Daniel Maldini. Brilliant goal.
Scored twice in this fixture, of course, now in successive seasons. For Milan last season, away. Free kick, won by Giroud. Giroud will go for it, but Vranckx always the favourite.
Yeah, when it's floated like that with no pace, it's easy for the goalkeeper.
Zola did a good job there holding it up, and Holm certainly looks much more comfortable on the right side for Spezia.
Yes, I think because he's right-footed, he prefers to go down the outside rather than being on this left-hand side. But this is hard work for both teams here. Where's that little bit of inspiration or bit of class going to come from?
Ketelaere won't get anything there for Milan. But Zola will win a free kick against Tomori.
Yeah, there's a criticism of Tomori at times. He gets too tight, and then you get spun. Looking for a free kick there. That's no free kick. But Tomori's got to learn that. He's got to learn it quickly. As in 24, really, what you should do, you should be getting tight, letting them feel you, and then drop off. So you squeeze and then you drop.
That was the point I was trying to make. Maybe, what, 10 minutes ago in the penalty box. He just didn't control that situation. And a half-chance came Spezia's way because of that.
Yeah, and good players will just spin you. They'll fill you and just spin you or get a free kick.
Zola. Goalkeeper needed to be on his toes a little bit as Verdi tried one of those clever little flicky finishes that he's got in his armoury.
Just wouldn't come down in time. They're asking a few little questions here, Spezia. They know they're in this game. Can they repeat that victory?
I wouldn't put it beyond them right now. Theo Hernández, he's got past Holm. And they didn't stop the cross the other way there. Bit lucky, Spezia, but they've got more to do. In from Rafael Leão. Rebic can't control it. Verdi. Forthful by the Ketelaere, but it's not enough.
No, they're trying hard enough. It's a really good take from Theo Hernández in behind Holm. Defender just about gets enough on that, and then it's headed away by Ketelaere. This would be a massive point for Spezia if they can hold on here.
All those injured Milan players watching on. Calabria, Florenzi, Ibrahimovic. They can't help tonight, but they want to come back to a side that's got Napoli within touching distance if possible.
Yeah, the problem is with the World Cup in the middle, those teams that are in good form, it might hurt them, they might not get up to the pace again.
Leão trying to get into top gear. Card is out. Been on the field very long, Eriksen.
No, but he's putting himself about. That's the one, because he jumps into it. That's why Tonali saying, hey, that should be a red. The referee's given the yellow. He's got to be very careful there. Eriksen. What can they conjure up here from this free kick, though?
The only problem is, Nigel, Tonali's brilliant strike apart, they've not conjured up anything really in this second half.
Nope, huff and puff. No real control in the game, no inspiration out there. They all look a little bit flat.
Kalulu is wide right and unmarked. Tonali over it, Theo Hernández. Seemed a shade ambitious, that. Eriksen did a good job.
Yeah, he did. Once that ball's moved, you can come out and close it down. You know it's going to hit it on his left foot.
Goalkeepers again, I reckon.
Yeah, he did enough, didn't he, with the punch? Oh, that's a silly. I think it's Theo Hernández. He's got to be careful he doesn't get a red card for that. Lost his head a little bit there. I think it was in Zola. Now Giroud getting involved as well.
This plays right into Spezia's hands for me.
Yeah, the referee's got to be asking the fourth official, asking anybody watching what went on here.
We've all got to hope that the communications are working. He doesn't seem to me to be a real authority figure. Nico Fabre. Couple of yellows. Several other offences left on the books for further consideration, perhaps.
Yeah, but that's the block off there. Tonali. He's not happy. But you blocked him off. And then Giroud runs all the way from his point right into the left-back position. I think that one who's the luckiest is Theo Hernández for pushing him over.
He's got away with it, you see. Rowski again. Couldn't attack that, he had to wait for it, but he did do the job again. And now we're well inside the last 10, but there should be a considerable amount of stoppage time, all in all.
Yeah, it's been stop-start, hasn't it? A lot of substitutions second half as well.
So there was a yellow for Hernández. That means a suspension. The trip to Cremonese. Verdi. That looked a tame effort, but we all know that this guy is capable.
Yeah, but went for glory, really. Should have played it to his left-hand side and then got it back, and he'd been further up the pitch, nearer to Tătăruşanu's goal. Poor effort.
I wonder if they've actually shaded efforts on goal in this second half, Spezia. It's been that ordinary from Milan. Hernández, Giroud. Oh, Rafael Leão.
Yeah.
And Vranckx let everybody know that he'd been fouled there.
Yeah, but he did brilliantly, the goalkeeper. Comes out, Leão goes for it to hook it back in. It's a coming together, it's a free kick, no more than that. Really good goalkeeping. I don't like that. Tonali, just get on and play your game. I think he's a wonderful footballer. You don't need to be throwing yourself to the floor, trying to get penalties, trying to get people sent off. Just play your game. Scored a wonderful goal, which VAR chalked off. But he's such a wonderful player. Excellent defending on Rebic there. He wanted to go on the outside and then chop back onto his left. Running out of time here, Milan.
Time and time again last season, hard-fought affairs like this, they found a way to win it. That's what they need right now. Spirit of their championship year. Deflection. Giroud tried to adjust. The Ketelaere came onto it. And look at Kjær celebrating.
Yeah, because he knows he didn't switch off and he went for the ball, and that made it very difficult for the Ketelaere. There you go. Took it early instead of just coming on it and stroking it in. Really good defending.
He enjoyed it, didn't he?
Enjoy it more if they keep a clean sheet here in this second half.
Yeah.
Get a point.
Player with plenty to prove coming back here to Milan tonight. Sandro Tonali to take the corner. And it wasn't a very good one. Cleared by Anzola. Hernández gets it back. And all the way back by Krunić to the keeper Tătăruşanu. Kjær kept going.
But did well in the first place, bringing it out. Tomori did well to block him off. Just stood right on the top of his ankle there. It's a sore one.
Kalulu. Tonali. Giroud. Yes! Olivier Giroud has done it for Milan! Again and again and again he does it for Milan!
Got to be careful, we might be getting another yellow card here. He's already had a yellow card, but what a ball from Tonali. But Kalulu it was who won the ball. And then Tonali went on with it, and you could see the picture, the movement of Giroud. And it's a lovely floated ball. What a goal this is. When you need someone to come up with the goods, that inspiration, this man has got it in abundance at the moment.
Is he going to send him off, Nigel? He is.
Told you. It's a silly, silly second card. But what a goal. Let's watch this good side in the first place. What a ball from Tonali. In behind the defender at full stretch, on the volley, on that left foot. That is a brilliant finish from a man in form. Absolutely sensational. This pass, this finish, that's what this game has been crying out for. A bit of quality, a bit of inspiration. And these two substitutes have come up with it.
2 against Salzburg in midweek. And they hope it will be the winner tonight. And at least they can't take the goal off him. Celebrations have got quite heated on the touchline from the look of it. Now Ekdal is replaced by Srelec. And we are in stoppage time, of which there should be quite some time. Rafael Leão is now taken off. Down to 10, of course. They've got to perhaps think about protecting what they have.
That was it. That was the winning of the ball there. I said about Kalulu. Brilliant defending from him. But this pass is superb. But it's the movement of Giroud in behind the two defenders. Tells me, put it in there, away from the keeper, on the angle, and I'll do the rest. And did he do the rest, bro? What a finish.
Thiaw is on as an additional defender. I'll give this game one thing, it's even more incident-filled as it's reached a climax than the one last season, which kind of defied belief. And that was a presentable opportunity, which, unfortunately, for Spezia came to Rebic.
Yeah, Rebic on his right foot as well. Want to hit it goalwards, he dragged it wide. If he hits a defender, it's one of his strikers and goes in the back of net, you wouldn't have been surprised in this game.
No free kick this time. Rebic won it. Tonali, and he was cut off before he could release it. At some personal cost, but it's actually Ampadu who's won the free kick here.
Yeah, because Tonali miscontrolled it. They get a yellow card for that, that's for sure. And this might be the last chance here for Spezia from this free kick. Can they conjure up something? Tonali's going to be sent off though. Is he had a yellow card already?
I believe not, Nigel, although it's very difficult now to keep up.
No, it's Bennacer who he replaced at half-time, wasn't it? It was on a yellow card. But can they create something here, Spezia?
Taken by Verdi. Now a corner. They're not exactly going to welcome Mikhail Fabry back here with open arms, are they? Next time, whenever that is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just not been good enough tonight.
VAR, the officiating note for
Tătăruşanu grabs it either side of him, and that might have gone in the net.
Well, that could have gone anywhere. In the end, it just loops up into his hands. Ricochet straight into Tătăruşanu's arms.
It's off the back of Kjær. He didn't know anything about it either. Taking round to 5 additional minutes. Ampadu, Pioli wants Milan to push up. They're so tired. That's what they needed. And Tonali, he's got half of San Siro to run into. Will he go for goal or will he go for the corner? He's going to go for goal.
I don't think Rebic is too happy. He wanted the cross.
Tonali's not too happy about the one that was ruled out, Nigel.
I don't blame him either. But it looks like they're going to just about nick the 3 points.
Gabbia with the first header. Kalulu's mighty rapid, he can't get to that. Recca most certainly won't get to it the other way, and now Milan are celebrating in the expectation that the final whistle will blow from Fabri, the referee. But maybe even in that, Milan are going to be frustrated.
There's a little smile under there from Pioli. He knows his team's got away with one here tonight. They've not played well. They ground out a result. Oh, it's all going off. But you're absolutely right in what you said earlier, Paul. The referee wasn't in control of this game from start to finish. The VAR spoilt it as well. But in the end, it's all about getting 3 points here. And Milan have done that.
7 away games for Spezia and not a single point so far this season, but they came mighty close here. Daniel Maldini scoring against Milan to level after Theo Hernández scored beautifully, the moment then killed by an unacceptably lengthy VAR. Tonali had a wonder strike ruled out. Milan toiled and worked and battled, and just like last season so often, eventually they've won it.